To all the geeks and nerds, welcome to another episode of Dissecting Minecraft, and I'm joined, as usual, by Methods, and we're here, and this week we are the Beavis and Butthead of Minecraft. You can decide which one's which. Put it in the comments which one is Butthead, which one is Beavis. But anyway, oh man, I love this bit. I love that bit. Anyway, so this week, we've got 3 contraptions that we are going to actually dissect. So I think we've come to the point where we've got a good grounding in a whole bunch of different things, and now we're ready to start dissecting some contraptions. So we've got a few different ones to talk about of varying levels, and we're going to get into this. So Methods, do you want to kick us off with the first one?
All right, let's get right into it. So here we basically have the most standard Shulker Box filler that was ever done. It's by El Mango. And let's just, I guess, demonstrate it, what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Shulker Box halfway full at least or something?
Maybe not.
Okay, I'm just gonna grab it real quick and grab some items and make it almost full in creative, just so we don't have to wait for forever.
Yeah, so it was me that set these up, so maybe they're not set up as well as normal, because normal Methods does it. He was a bit busy.
Okay, so now there's 16 items missing in them.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to throw 16. No, we need a little bit more, actually. I'm going to throw 64 glass in here.
Huh?
It's going to fill up the box. And what it now actually does, we don't detect the box being full. We detect the hopper here in the back. And once there's 23 items in the hopper, we reach signal strength 2. There it goes. It just broke the box and placed us a new one.
Huh?
So what basically happens is we reach signal strength 2. We lock this bottom hopper here.
Yep.
Which this observer can detect.
Mm-hmm.
Which feeds into this piston here via the repeater.
Yep.
Which 1 tick or 2 tick pulses it up, so the observer gets lost. Which sends a 4-game tick signal into this piston. Which just breaks the Shulker box, retracts the observer again, and then via QC powers the dropper here, which spits out a new empty Shulker box, which can be filled again.
Very smart.
And that's all that happens in this thing.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, just kind of touring around that and talking about that, that's actually pretty straightforward. But yeah, very smart and clean.
And of course, here in the back, we have 2 hoppers filling in new boxes.
Uh-huh.
And that's already everything that this thing does.
Yeah, so nice and straightforward.
Just one thing you have to keep in mind, those are tileable, so you can put every slice next to each other. But if you have a single one, it's actually no longer one wide. So if you use a single one, we have this redstone dot here pointing into this block, which already powers the hopper at signal strength 1. So if you use 2, you need to curve this redstone dot here.
Okay.
That's the only thing you have to keep in mind. But if you use multiples, it does that automatically, which is usually where you use those.
Okay, just as one more quick demo, would you mind setting it off again and slowing down the tick rate so we can just see it in slow motion all kind of happening?
Of course. And also making it slower because the whole breaking and replacing part happens rather quick.
Uh-huh.
And here we go. Observer turned on. Broke the box. And there we go.
Very nice. Very nice.
So basically we just detect 23 items here, and those 2 pistons, they create a T flip-flop.
Right, yeah.
Otherwise they would start clocking, and this would push down, would trigger the other one, and so on. It would just clock. So we basically just create a T flip-flop as soon as we detect the hopper having 23 items. And the T flip-flop itself also breaks the box and places a new one.
Yeah, very good. Very good. All right. So that one, as we said, that one is by El Mango. And he's got a video about this stuff, so I'll stick that in the description. So go and check it out if you want more information.
Okay, so next we have an unloader, which is the next logic step, I guess.
Yeah, this is from Heinz Eins, another fellow German.
So let's just trigger it. Up here we have a little button.
Mm-hmm.
It will trigger this piston here, which would also break an existing box, but at the moment it doesn't matter since we don't have one. And basically we detect the piston being triggered with this observer here. We send the signal downwards with another observer, power the dispenser, and place a box.
Yep.
Now we have one in here. And really quickly it gets broken. So what happens? It's actually just freeze the game so it stops unloading. Oh, actually perfect moment. So as soon as the box is empty, the comparator here turns off, which turns on this torch, which extends this piston. It pushes the observer up, we've sent a signal into the block here, which powers the piston and breaks the box.
Yep.
And then we basically just repeat the process that we did while starting. We detect the piston getting powered. We power the dispenser with it, place a new box. And also in the same moment, we power this hopper here in the back, which gets detected by this observer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the interesting part here, which also goes down, powers this block, powers this piston here via QC, which just very quickly removes and places this redstone block here back. And via doing this, we're splitting the items in the shulker box, because in an unloader, you would always get items and boxes, and you don't want those in the same chest. You want to split them up. So in the default state, this hopper here is always locked.
Yep.
And in the moment this gets, the last item flows to here, and then really quickly this hopper here gets unlocked and sucks the shulker box down.
Right, so down here you got the shulker boxes end up, yep, all the empty ones.
This way you can split up all the items.
All the items end up in there. All right, awesome. Very nice. Now I think there's probably some more compact designs for this, but this is one that I found that I thought was a good size for us to talk about. So yeah, so that is, again, this is from a song I found on YouTube. So this is from Heinz. So yeah, again, I'll stick a link in the description. So go and check that one out as well.
All right, and now we have the first bigger thing.
Yeah, so this is from Kaz from Mazuma Gaming. We spoke about some of his stuff before, so just in general, go and check out Kaz's channel. Mazuma Gaming, he's got loads of really good stuff on there. But in particular, we're going to look at this one today. This is a 7-segment display.
Okay, so what does it do? It's a 7-second display. We can turn it on and off. So right now it's just off. You can turn it on. And we have reset it, it's on 0. So we can increase. 1. 2. 3. And of course this goes up to 9.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get multiple numbers with that, and we can also decrease. Now we're going down again. 2. 1. And 0. And we can also, let's say we just increase it to 2 or something. We can also hit the reset button to reset it completely without decreasing or increasing all the way again. And that's just what it does. So how does it do this? We've split it up a little bit here to take a look, but it's still kind of convoluted here. So I've dissected it even further down here. And if we look at this, some people of you might be able to notice this circuit from an earlier episode.
Yeah.
It's basically just a signal strength increaser and decreaser.
Yeah, so this is the one we saw previously, where we're keeping a count. Well, basically the way that it keeps the count is by manipulating the signal strength, right?
Yep, exactly. And since this one uses a lot of torches, it's actually the other way around. So our decrease raises the signal strength and our increase decreases the signal strength. But it doesn't really matter for now, it's just a demonstration. So here we have our first input. Right now we are at signal strength 15. So if we hit this button here, 14. And here's our output, by the way. But you can also check it.
Right.
And we just, every time we send a signal in, we go 1 down. And 1 down again. So back here we have the other input, which is our increase. Every time we increase, we go up in the signal strength. Or, as I said before, we go down. And then we have a reset. The reset works really simple too. We just power this redstone dot here with signal strength 15, which locks this comparator and turns the whole thing off. Now we have no longer a signal. And then we just send the according signal strength in again.
Right. Okay,
and in this specific setup, it's not actually working with signal strength 15 in the standard setting, it's 11. Since we only have so many numbers, we don't actually need signal strength 15. But for the demonstration here, it's just easier to do it with full power. And that's pretty much already all this thing does. And now it's just in a really smart way gets continued. Let's take a look at it. Here you can see we have our on-off, which is pretty much just we override the output completely.
Yep.
And we leave all of this here just gets completely left.
Mm-hmm. So that so the
We
on
have
off there,
our-
the on off pushes this redstone block over one.
Exactly. It just
turns it
locks
off.
it overrides the output basically.
Yeah.
That's all it does. Then we have our increase. It's just a node block. And we have an observer line going here all the way on the bottom
Mm-hmm.
into a block below the dropper. So this way we power the dropper.
Uh-huh.
Then we have our reset, which goes all the way down here and powers this block here.
Yep.
Which sends the signal all the way around here again. And it overrides this comparator with signal strength 11 and then feeds 11 back in.
Right, so then you get 0. Right, yep.
That's the turn it off and turn it on again.
Yep.
That's just the reset. And then we have our decrease, which is yet again just an observer line going all the way here at the bottom into this block.
Yep.
Sending signal strength 15 in here, but we're subtracting it with this dropper that has signal strength 14. So we only send in 1 signal strength.
Right, and that's 14. That's 14 because this dropper is not quite full up. So you
exactly, it's 1 item is missing. And therefore we only decrease it by 1.
Okay, great. Perfect.
And that's pretty much all the magic that's already happening here. We can now see what does it do with it. So here's our main output.
Yep.
Right now we're outputting power 8.
Yep.
Which of course here it's actually turning into 7. We feed it all the way around here.
Right, so we're using comparators here to retain the same signal strength.
Of course, you always have to use the comparators in those contraptions just to retain our signal strength, otherwise it wouldn't work at all.
So we get 7 over here, even though it's moved.
So we turn those 7 torches here off. And then only this one here is on. Why is only this one on and not all the 3 others on as well? Well, because we take the output here again, send it into this comparator, which subtracts signal strength 9.
Right.
7 minus 9 makes 2, and therefore those 2 here are locked as well.
Right.
And if you now just take a look at this and I increase it, we can switch through every single torch in this line and only turn a single one. So as I said this before, when we actually originally covered the circuit, it's super powerful. You can do so much with it, and this is one of the best uses for it.
Really
and
cool.
of course, really smart torch tower wire.
Yeah. So now then, I guess we've got our input over there, which is a bunch of, obviously hitting those note blocks. That turns into lighting up 1 torch. And then it's a case of how do you turn 1 torch into a 7-segment display? I guess that's the next part.
Exactly. Give me 1 second. I'm just grabbing some blocks. So from here, of course, you could already do everything you want to do. The hard part is getting it all compacted. So we could take our first signal here, and then we could take another signal with another torch here and bring it somewhere else, and something like this. The really hard part about this is getting it compacted down to like here. So let's just take an example number. I'm going to increase it maybe to 3.
Okay, so it's an important thing to start off with. Obviously, take a note of the pairs of lamps that make up the 3.
Of course, you always gotta know which lamps you want to turn on for what number. That's just going to be a lot of puzzling and trying around, but it's really not too hard. So let's just look which torches we power with signal strength 3. We have torch number 4.
Right, it's right in here, right in the depths. This one right here,
and it goes 1 higher up. So let's just look to here again. We're going up here to this block, which powers our redstone line here.
Yep.
Which feeds over, powers our top 2 lamps.
Yep.
Then we have it also powering this redstone line here. Powers our side 2 lamps here.
Yep.
We also power where does this come from? Look. Give me 1 second. Where is it even coming from? That's the hard part, really.
Yeah.
Let's have to go in here.
In here somewhere.
We have another torch down here. We're powering this line. Okay, here it comes from. So we turned off this torch. And also the torch below it, which turns on this repeater I'm standing on.
Yep, yeah, got it.
Which feeds all the way around here into another little torch tower. That's the blue circuit.
The blue circuit there that goes, and that goes into there. All right, that's the middle one.
And then we have the 2 bottom lamps, which are being powered as well by the blue circuit. So pretty much what the 7-segment 7-segment display does, you always have pairs of 2 lamps,
Mm-hmm.
and they are one circuit that can be turned on.
Yeah, so of course,
And for every number that has to turn on one of those 2 lamps, you have to find an attachment to it.
yeah. And of course, because we're using the power of, so we're strongly powering one of the lamps, which will light the other one. So we don't need to light, you don't need to power 2 lamps. You just have to power one of them strongly, and it will power both.
Exactly.
All right.
And it's
Brilliant.
really, I mean, of course, now it looks really big and really complicated, but really this whole top circuit here is just a very smart way of wiring something in a small space. Really, the guts of it are ending pretty much at the torches down here.
Yeah.
With the red circuit, that's pretty much the whole 7-segment display done. Now it's just about how small can you make the wiring hit the correct lamps.
Yeah. So obviously, before we started recording, we had a little chat about this, and I think one of the key takeaways from this is obviously this is a really cool design, and looking at this, it's really elegant, it's really clean, looks amazing. Now, what you need to think about is when you're building like a contraption, don't try and aim for this as your first design, because I'm sure Kaz, maybe if Kaz sees this video, maybe we'll put a link, maybe put a comment in the comment section. But I imagine the first few iterations of this were probably quite messy and probably lots of redstone all over the place. But as you refine your ideas and you kind of iterate over it, you kind of compact it down, make each part of it more and more elegant, and then you end up with this design in the end.
Yeah, that's why I started with the blocks here.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how it usually works. You usually just have to get your outputs, and then you start wiring it all the way around, get in there, get it working, and then you start going on. And of course, also in this torch tower here, he's going further up with it. So here you have your next block, and then you have torches again, and then once more. And suddenly you can take way more outputs than before. So we can now take outputs here, take outputs here. We can even take a block here and get our output here. So this is not the end of the contraption here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're smart about it, you can always find a way. But it's never how it starts. This actually, I would say, probably even took Kaz the longest amount of time is finding the smart way to move this around.
Yeah, I bet.
Because as we dissected, the bottom circuit here is really basic and simple.
Yeah. So one thing I was going to ask, see what you think. So what kind of tips can you give people, including me, is like, let's say, for example, let's say I want to build a contraption. So maybe in my mind, I've got an idea that I want to build a 7-segment display. What are the kind of steps to kind of think about to kind of go through that kind of design process? How, like, if you're building a new contraption, how do you kind of go about it? What do you think about?
Don't go for compact. Don't go for cheap. Don't go for fast. Make it work first.
Mm-hmm. You
make it work first. You clone the whole thing over. You start ripping it apart and make it more compact, smaller, faster. All of this can come later. But really, you always have to think priority is actually the function. And the world is big enough to do whatever you want. Materials shouldn't be a problem usually. And then afterwards, you can always find smart solutions. Really start at the very basics. Make it work. That's the most important thing, and hang in there.
Right. Yeah, hang in there. That's the key thing. Yeah, keep going, keep trying.
Even if you give up and you hit the hard wall, you can always you can go into Dissecting Minecraft in the Logics Discord, in the Dissecting channel or the Game Mechanics. You can find people who have smarter solutions. At that point, you can always find someone who did it before and also steal from them. That's how it usually works. Yeah. So I mean, no one forces you to come up with your own monostable or your own etho clock.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really good idea is to just look what other people did, get inspired from it, steal parts of it. Or what means stealing? I mean, it's science. So you take the results from other people and apply them to your thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the big things in the Minecraft community in particular. I mean, everyone kind of builds on each other's work, right? It's one person will discover something, and then someone else will build on top of that, and then before you know it, you'll have a brand new thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and of course, if you do need some help, obviously, as Method said, we've got our own Discord, but also there's the SciCraft Discord as well. A whole bunch of really helpful people in there, so that's another place to go to get help.
Yep.
And that is about it for another episode. But Methods, you want to talk about what we're after people to do for future episodes?
Show us some circuits you don't understand. Show us some things that we should dissect for you. Of course, they shouldn't be gigantically big, so we can't really do it at all in one episode. So maybe confine it to a doable contraption. And yeah, that's about it. whatever you feel like, especially things you don't understand yourself. Just show us those, and we will look through them, pick some out, and dissect.
Yeah, I think that would be really useful because obviously for us, there's lots of things that, well, I say us, you understand, but sometimes we don't know what people don't understand. So yeah, if you give us those suggestions, whether it's like a world download that you've got or whether it's a YouTube video you've seen, yeah, give us those links in the description, in the comment section, sorry, and yeah, we will check them out in future episodes. All right, so that is about it. And if you enjoyed it, then please hit the like button. And if you're new, then feel free to subscribe. And yeah, have you got any comments or suggestions, any kind of feedback, then get it in the comments section. All right, my geeks, until next time, I will see you later.
Bye-bye.